We are here for One Piece chapter 998 predictions. Obviously no chapter this week, so as scheduled, as normal, normally it comes out on Friday, so no chapter this week, so we have predictions. And you know what? I went back, I reread from chapter 990 to 997, and there are a bunch of things that I want to point out that we haven't seen in a while, or just where Oda left off, where I think it's logical for him to go in the upcoming chapter. I also want to point out that in my last prediction video that I made, I talked about the fight going to the capital, just based off of how things were going. So it's funny, I mean, there's no way I could have predicted, I mean, I guess there was a way, but it would be crazy to predict Kaido picking up Onigashima and taking it to the capital. He did have the new Onigashima project. Either way, there are a few things that I want to talk about here in regards to what more than likely is going to happen, just based off of how much time we spent on them and where chapter 997 left off. Again, 998, 999, then we had chapter 1000. So things are going to start to build, I think, rapidly for a bit, because we're approaching the climax. I don't think the climax is at chapter 1000, which would be really dope, but we have too much to get to before we get to that. So first thing I want to talk about, what's going on with Pedro and Carrot and Wanda. Pedro was there with Wanda and Carrot, and they were transformed in their Sulong forms. Big Mom left, and from now what we know, she's going to Kaido, and Marco left because he's trying to figure out why the hell he's even there. So I think we see a bit of that. I think we see a bit of Pedro versus Carrot and Wanda. Something that I was thinking about when just going through the chapters, the minks, specifically Orochi and Nekomamushi, they've been transformed for a long time. When I say a long time, we're not sure exactly how much time has passed, but a bunch of chapters, they've been in their transformed state. Now, one thing that we know is that for the minks, they can stay in a transformed state for a longer time based on how well they've mastered that ability, but they can't stay in it forever, right? For Carrot and Wanda, more than likely Wanda's gonna have a longer lasting Sulong than Carrot. But then I was thinking, people are saying the scabbards are dead. I mean, I think they're obviously knocked out, but I don't think they're dead. Oda would not kill all of the scabbards off screen. There's no way. But it'd be cool to see some Pedro versus Wanda and Carrot. And speaking of Pedro, he made me think of the Big Mom Pirates. The last time we saw the Big Mom Pirates, they were going down the waterfall again. Somebody pointed out a ship or something falling from Onigashima. I think it was a Sunny, but for instance, would it be hilarious if the Big Mom Pirates were falling down again? Like if Oda used that actual trope again to show the Big Mom Pirates trying to get to Onigashima, get to Wano, and they fail. Bro, I think it'd be too perfect, so I would actually like to see that. Another place where we left off was Frankie versus Sasaki. I know you guys didn't forget when Yamato used her club and sent an attack to the number, knocked the number out, but Sasaki and Frankie were left back with some fodder. But for the most part, it's going to be Sasaki versus Frankie. We predict a very defensive big boy battle because we expect Sasaki to have a devil fruit that's more so an armored type. He was, leader of the armored corps. So it makes sense for Frankie, who, he's made of armor at this point, to go up against Sasaki. So I think we see some of that. In the main stage, what's going on there with Zoro and Marco and Chopper, I think obviously Chopper starts to create this antidote or this antibody to combat what's going on there permanently. But in the midst of that, Zoro versus Queen. Now, I would have thought Zoro would go after Queen if the dialogue after he sent the slash would, indicate that some more, but no. For me, I don't think Zoro's focused on Queen so much. He was annoyed by Queen, but I don't think he's focused on Queen to the point that he feels like he has to go and fight him, and I don't think that's Zoro's fight. It just doesn't match up really well. But I think Oda left some breadcrumbs here based on the characters that are there right now. So first off, we have Zoro, who's really interested in going to the rooftop. At that point as well, we have Marco, who doesn't know why the hell he's there. So for Zoro, who wants to go to the rooftop, again, Zoro did mention Queen and King being around. So it's like, okay, I want to go there, but going through the sky is difficult. But even trying to ascend, via the stairs as well is going to be difficult because Queen is there. I think something that could logically happen is Marco just gives Zoro a ride, right? Where Marco, he tries to fly Zoro up to, the fourth floor where Luffy is, because I think Luffy and Zoro, they meet back up. But he does that, and then King attacks him. He doesn't get all the way to the rooftop, and then again Zoro meets back up with Luffy. I think it's too perfect having these two individuals like Marco and King this close to each other and they don't have them interact. And again, based on the breadcrumbs Oda's been leaving in regards to what's happened among the Yonko crews, as far as like Pedro saying he's been waiting to kill Marco, I wonder what the dialogue would be if Marco interacted with King. Would King say, well, I've been waiting to fight you, Marco, right? Because they have very similar fighting styles outside of King having a sword. So that's something that I think happens where Zoro could get transported by Marco to maybe not the rooftop because King intervenes, but closer to where Luffy is right now, where he's ascending to the fourth floor. Something that people point out as well is that Luffy avoided the snakes using the ladder. So Oda is just using this as a cool callback, snakes and ladders. So Oda, just being the clever genius that he is, threw that in there. I didn't even recognize this, but a bunch of people in the comment section did point it out. So shout out to you guys. You guys, are normally awesome. Another thought I had was Oda giving us the capital's perspective. Remember back in chapter 992 or 993, Oda showed us what was going on in the flower capital, where the people, they're celebrating, but they can't help but feel some anxiety based on what's going on in the country right now. In their mind, this moment that they have, they wish it could last forever because they're having a good time, but they're crying even though they're enjoying themselves because they know it just lasts for one night. But in the midst of it, I think Oda gives us a perspective showing them seeing this floating island coming towards them. Personally, I don't think Onigashima makes it to the flower capital because, again, that would slaughter so many people. So I think, it's a huge threat and a perfect countdown type thing by Oda, like Dressrosa, like Punk Hazard, even like Whole Cake. Oda likes using that, to raise the stakes a bit because now we're up against time as well, in addition to Yonko. And something that I mentioned in regards to, something that could be an important cog in regards to this plan is Big Mom headed towards the rooftop. And she was really intent on going there, and no one knows what her plan is. Not even Pedro. And honestly, I'm not sure if Big Mom even knows what she plans to do when she gets there. But she wants to get to the rooftop because she feels like that's where the main fight is. That's where she needs to be because she's a main player, which so far Onigashima has shown that this is Kaido's show. But I understand for Big Mom, ego, her being Yonko as well, she wants to be on the main stage. Something that also popped into my head was, where is Fukurokuju? Because he heard something and we haven't seen him since. We've seen Hote, and Hote went with Fukurokuju to figure out what he was doing. People are asking as well, do I think Orochi's dead? No, I still don't think Orochi's dead. Just because we haven't seen him in a while, Oda could, still show him at the end. Again, Fukurokuju just going off on his own in the middle of battle is weird, and the only thing I could think of that could distract him and, make him go towards that location or that area is Orochi. And I think Orochi still has things he needs to tie up. I don't think him dying that instantly is enough karma. I feel like he has to go through it while being alive to somewhat justify everything that he's done. So I still think Orochi is alive. I made an entire video about this in regards to Law and his purpose going forward in the story. That'd be linked below if you'd like to see that. I think we may see more of Law here because, Kaido is now moving on to Onigashima. Law may feel like it's time for him to actually enter the fray. But something that I've been thinking about is exactly what is Kid's role now. I still think Kid plays a major role in the story. How can you not feel a bit apprehensive based on just how involved he's been? For instance, Law, when he's off screen, I always feel like something's happening, right? I always feel like, okay, Law, being the character that he is, he's making plays offline or off air, off screen that could help or benefit whatever his goal is. And that's what he was doing. He was looking for a poneglyph. And then we got some more exposition into what exactly he would want. With Kid, he was just collecting more metal. And people would say, well, Kid feels like more metal is going to be the key to defeating Kaido. He's oblivious. I think for Kid, he knows what he's doing. It just feels so shallow and empty in regards to everything that's going on. Everyone seems to have more of a purpose than he does. And, we get the reaction panels and things of that nature from Kid. We need to see something. We need to see something immediately. Honestly, as well, I'm still not sure of the matchups. Like, I keep thinking that the matchups would be simple based off of powers and just how these characters are portrayed. But I mean, who could have foreseen Nami and Usopp versus Ulti in page 1? I guess you could have guessed Sasaki versus Frankie, but I think because of Sasaki's history with Kyoshiro, that's who I predicted for him to fight, just because it would be so perfect. But Kyoshiro, I think he's probably face down next to the other scabbards. And Kyoshiro, I'm not gonna lie, I think I maybe overestimated him a bit. I predicted him to be pretty damn strong, but you know what? That's not fair. He's going up against Kaido. So, I get it. Something that we also talked about on stream. If you guys would like to be a part of these streams, you can follow me on twitch.tv/BravoDAce. But we talked about Enma, just how powerful it's going to have to be for Zoro to actually reopen this wound of Kaido. Like, you had all of the scabbards basically try to reopen the wound of Kaido and they failed. And a lot of people, myself included, expect for Zoro to reopen the scar of Kaido's because Kaido said there will never be another samurai as monstrous as Odin that could do something like that. And then we have a swordsman who's trying to be the world's greatest. So what better feat than to have him reopen the old wound that was set by a monster like Kuzuki Odin? This is honestly a weird one in regards to what happens next with Kaido and mayhem or violence, depending on your translation. Because what does Oda do? Does he keep this thing afloat until the last minute, then Kaido drops it? Does Kaido not even get that far because Big Mom interrupts? How does this all play out in regards to some more mayhem And does this open the door for some more big players to show up? When people talk about an island floating, no one would have thought of Kaido initially, right? You would have thought of someone like Fujitora. So in regards to this, could Fujitora show up and actually stop this island from crashing into the capital? That would definitely make a lot of sense, because Fujitora, he wants to go after Luffy and Law, and he's not allowed on a marine base until he does apprehend them. So Fujitora showing up to Wano would be amazing. But somebody that I think would be even more better than Fujitora, even though Fujitora has a sword and he seems to portray himself as a samurai, is Green Bull, because we don't even know what Green Bull looks like. But, you know, Oda could be saving Green Bull for the final battle or something else going on. They're trying to apprehend the Shichibukai. I mean, that would be a great way to show Green Bull, maybe versus Weevil or something. And something that I'm also waiting on is the exposition chapters. The chapters where we go outside of Wano to see what has transpired and what is currently going on based on where we left off, where Mihawk was facing, you know, a giant fleet. Boa Hancock was about to face off against Kobe. So a lot was about to happen. Weevil was surrounded. So you really enjoy chapters like that, and that could be actually what happens in chapter 1000. So it's a lot that could transpire, right? But one thing for certain, right? Oda is unpredictable. Sometimes things can be, you know, pretty straightforward, but once Oda throws a curveball, normally you do not pick up on what's going to happen at all. And I think we're going to be surprised in the next couple chapters leading up to 1000. For sure. But guys, give me your thoughts. What do you think happens in chapter 998? I definitely think we see some more of Marco. I don't know, just the feeling is giving me some more Carrot and Wanda and Pedro stuff. Hopefully we get some more insight into Kaido's lineage as well. But again, guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate all you guys so much. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, because that helps me out a lot. And then I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.